I'm Richard Durrett with Nothing But Sports Productions. Big game tonight in Texas Stadium. Grapevine and Richland. Battle of running backs, Tellis Redmond and Nick Bulash. But it's going to be a great all-around game, so stay tuned with us here in Texas Stadium. Let's meet some of our players for tonight's game.
Ryan Cernisek, quarterback. I'm a senior.
Eric Guajardo, quarterback, junior.
Jack Brewer, wide receiver, junior.
TJ Bass, wide receiver, senior.
Brandon Battles, left corner, wide receiver, senior.
Jared Lord, safety, senior.
Scott Thompson, punter and kicker, and I'm a senior.
Jerry Stanford, receiver, senior.
Ryan Lapori, wide receiver, junior.
Steve Sands, wide receiver, junior.
Antonio McQuarter, safety, junior. Kevin Vest, cornerback, senior.
Kevin Hickson, defensive back, senior.
Chris Baker, punter, senior.
Andy Allen, receiver, senior.
Nick Whittam, corner, senior.
Ricky Ameziga, wide receiver, sophomore.
Randy Morgan, offensive line, senior.
Mike Eklund, offensive line, sophomore.
Shane McGowan, middle linebacker, senior.
D'Angelo Torres, wide receiver, junior.
Tellis Redmond, running back, sophomore.
Mark Collip, cornerback, junior.
Tyson Olivo, wide receiver, sophomore.
Nick Cervini, center, senior.
Mike Boyle, defensive end, senior.
Josh Baker, tight end, junior.
Blake Owens, linebacker, sophomore.
CK Khan, I play linebacker, and I'm a sophomore.
Alan Crawford, defensive tackle, sophomore.
Kyle Wardlaw, free safety, junior.
Christopher Harmon, center, junior. Chico Sanchez, receiver, sophomore.
Aaron Flores, defensive tackle, sophomore.
Jeff Lux, I'm a quarterback, and sophomore.
Jason Horn, corner, sophomore.
Jake Cohen, defensive back, sophomore.
Ryan Longino, linebacker, sophomore.
Nick Lupo, linebacker, junior.
Josh Azimi, running back, sophomore.
Dale Rebels, receiver, sophomore.
Jeff Henderson, defensive end, sophomore.
Lance Boykin, defensive tackle, sophomore.
Tamon, fullback, sophomore.
John Gowdy, linebacker, sophomore.
Chris Beam, receiver, junior.
Jacob Kendi, offensive guard, sophomore.
Jared Wyndham, wide receiver, junior. Mike Calvert, tight end, junior.
Sam Ford, cornerback, junior. Ryan Williams, linebacker, fullback, I'm a senior. Brian Richardson, middle linebacker, senior.
David Font, senior, 33.
Chris Watson, defensive tackle, junior.
Tim Williams, left tackle, senior.
Lance Johnson, defensive tackle, 95.
Brad Howard, linebacker, senior, Grapevine.
Nathan Liverman, defensive tackle, senior.
William Dawkins, offensive tackle, senior.
Rodney Tracer, defensive end, junior.
Mike Ward, defensive end, senior.
Kyle Coons, outside linebacker, junior.
Kate Lovelace, linebacker, sophomore.
Jeff Heinold, guard, senior.
John Holzaffel, senior, defensive tackle.
Hank Gray, offensive tackle, senior.
Chris Kidwell, O-line, junior.
Casey Klingenbeard, I play defensive end, and I'm a senior.
Sean Parent, defensive end, senior.
John Massey, offensive line, sophomore.
Ronnie Eden, defensive end, senior.
Nick Chickowitz, defensive end, senior.
James McCarthy, offensive and defensive tackle, junior.
The name's Pahulu, position, defensive tackle, junior high school.
Sherry Carter, senior. Renee Tarwater, senior. Stephanie Buchanan, junior. Julie Pleva, senior. Cindy McCann, junior. Hi, I'm Rachel Wilson, senior. Hi, I'm Kathy Cost-Stevens, senior. Kelly Duffy, senior. Hi, I'm Lori Schlent, senior. Heidi Robinson, senior. Aaron Bailey, junior. Hi, I'm Annie Stanford, and I'm a junior.
Go the Rustlers.
I'm Scott Taylor, and I'm a senior. My name is Brad Hawkins. Here's looking at you, 12th grade.
Jeremy Fickle, and I'm a junior.
I'm Jeff Meldy, and I'm a senior, and I have the wrong shirt on.
Kevin Campbell, Spirit Center, I'm a senior at Grapevine High School.
My name is Brian Lattenberg, I'm a senior at Grapevine High School.
Justin Robinson, Grapevine High School, Spirit Wrestler, and I'm a senior 96.
Brad Hawkins, senior.
Johnny!
Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm Ian, and we're juniors. Go Mustangs! I'm Kim. I'm Michelle. We're seniors. I'm Amy. I'm Liz. I'm Barbara. We're juniors. Go Grapevine! I'm Ashley, and I'm a junior. I'm Lisa, and I'm a senior. And I'd just like to say, go Mustangs!
I'm Richard Doyle along with Neil Amy. We're at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. It's nothing but sports productions tonight. Grapevine and Richland. The Grapevine Mustangs come into this game riding a real high, came off a big win last week, looking forward to the playoffs, and it's a big step for these players to be able to play in Texas Stadium.
It's a real honor and a thrill for these players to say that they played on the same field as the Dallas Cowboys, who are expecting a nice crowd on hand and what should be a spectacular evening for football here at Texas Stadium.
You'll want to stay with us. Nothing but sports productions at Texas Stadium. It's the Grapevine Mustangs and the Richland Rebels. Stay with us. Along with Neil Amy, I'm Richard Urt here at Texas Stadium. As you can see, Cowboys all over the field, but it's not the Cowboys tonight. It's Grapevine and Richland. Big playoff game, and it's kind of, we talked about in the opening, it's a thrill for these kids to play at Texas Stadium. They get a big opportunity tonight, a Thursday night. The sky is beautiful. It's a great night, a little chilly, but a great night for football. And Grapevine appears to be fired up for this game. These two teams pretty evenly matched, Neil.
Yes, they are. They both come in with winning traditions. And the crowd, as we noticed, Richard, before the game, very much into this one. Richland comes in overall 7-3, 5-1 in district. Grapevine overall 8-2, and they are 6-1 in district. And the crowd is very much into this game.
Should be interesting as we get ready for the kickoff. The bands, both bands are here in full force. They're ready to rock this place. The crowd is on its feet, anticipating the kickoff. And it's funny looking at these two teams. Grapevine, one of these wide-open offense-type clubs. Got a guy like Tellis Redmond at running back, a great quarterback in Ryan Cernasek. And on the Richland side of the ball, also they have a running back by the name of Nick Boulash, a last name you should recognize, the son of Norm Boulash.
Former Miami Dolphin and Baltimore Colt, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly right, and his son apparently very good this season. And here goes Richland on the opening kickoff, and a pretty nice run back as they get pretty fired up. Good play by Blake, that's a good play by Chris Lovett, running back for Richland. He's a sophomore this season. Grapevine enters the field. Their defense ready to go here, and interesting that Richland gets the ball first. Probably helps Grapevine. You're a little fired up for a game like this. The adrenaline's flowing. Maybe it's a chance for them to sort of sit back and let the defense take control here in the early going.
Exactly. You want your defense to set the tone for the game, hold the other team to 3 downs and out, and set the tone for your offense so they play pretty much butterfly free.
Richland approaches the line. 2 backs in the backfield. The pitch will go to the backfield. Not much yardage. Great tackling by Grapevine as their defensive backs come up and make the play at about the 31-yard line. That'll be close to a 2-yard gain, but good gang tackling by the the Grapevine defensive line. Nice defensive read. They followed the ball very quickly, stretched the play wide, and pretty much held them to very little gain. Big game for some of these seniors for Grapevine. 66 Mike Boyle in there, Hank Ray, Lance Johnson, all these guys, big guys, want to be in this football game. Looking forward to their chance to shine in Texas Stadium. The flag on the field, probably going to be either a false start on Richland or Grapevine moving. We'll see. It appears to be on Richland. It will be a false start. Dead ball foul. That'll back up Richland. Good start for Grapevine early in this game. The defense has really come through.
They've come off to a good start. They snuffed out the running play initially. And of course, as evidenced by the Richland penalty, a little pregame jitters here. It may take these young men maybe a couple of series to really get into the game from a mental perspective.
Brian Richardson calls the truce for Grapevine as they break from the huddle. Richland breaking toward the line themselves. Richland's going to run the ball. It's a draw. Caught Grapevine a little off guard, but a great defensive play.
Oh, what a pop at the end of the play, Richard.
Great play by T.J. Bass, the senior defensive back. Came up from his position to make the tackle on the Richland running back. That'll put Richland back at the original line of scrimmage. And now it will be, I think it's going to be 3rd down. It is 3rd down and 8. Big play right now for the Grapevine defense.
They need to definitely hold here, get the football, and establish some momentum for their offense. Nice pop at the end of the play there by number 32, and that would be Tellis, who really put a pop on the Richland running back.
Back to throw is Richland. They do throw. Good secondary coverage by Grapevine, and the Mustangs have come up big here. They will force Richland to punt the football. Big stand early by the Grapevine defense.
You had about 5 defensive backs over there in that right flat. The pass intended for number 85, and he was well covered, and that would be Eric Wilson, the wide receiver. He goes 5'10", 165. Good secondary coverage there on that pass throw in the right flat.
Richland will have to punt the football.
Whoa.
Bad snap, but the punter has plenty of time as Grapevine setting up for the return. Fair catch is called and made at about the 38-yard line. Good play by Josh Azimi, who called the fair catch and made the play for Grapevine. So we'll get to see Grapevine offensively here for the first time tonight. 10:09 remaining in the first quarter.
Josh Azimi, a veteran, he's been playing football since 7th grade through the 10th grade, very much involved in powerlifting, and good decision there to make that fair catch. He's going to set up Grapevine with great field position to start their first offensive series of the game. And pretty nice job athletically for the Richland punter to field that high snap.
Get an idea of the Grapevine offense. 2 wide receivers set to each side. 1 running back behind Cernasek as he approaches the line. Will take the snap from center. Man in motion. The handoff goes to Tellis Redmond, and he's backed up, but he gets away for just a second. A little upset with himself. He thought it may have been able to turn the corner on that play. It will go down as a loss. It'll be interesting to see the call from the Grapevine offensive coaches here. Maybe look for a play action pass from Grapevine, but smart move too to get Tellis Redmond in this ball game. He has been their cornerstone the entire year offensively, and he must be in this playoff game if the Mustangs are to come out on top.
Tellis Redmond began playing football at the Pee Wee level, goes 5'10", 170, also very actively involved in basketball and track.
And it's Redmond again with the call on the draw. A lot more yardage this time, fighting his way to the 42.5. They'll mark it at about the 42. That's going to bring up a big 3rd down situation. Looks to be a 3rd and about 7 or 8 yards. 3rd and 6 they're going to give him.
Richard, you can see very early at the beginning of this game, both teams defensively trying to establish the tone. Grapevine was able to hold Richland to 3 downs and out, and now the Richland defense trying to do the same thing.
Well, it's been Cernusek to Redmond this entire time. It'll be interesting to see 3rd and 6. If Grapevine goes away from the running attack and will try to convert a pass, they will. Cernusek drops back, still in the pocket now. It's flushed out to his right, throwing on the run. He has a man wide open all the way down to the 43-yard line, to the delight of the Grapevine coaches. I don't know what happened to Richland defensively, but Ryan Williams, the linebacker, also plays a little running back, just right out there in the flat from his position on the line. Wide open, good catch and good run after the catch by Williams. That'll give Grapevine a first down. The Mustangs on the move here in Texas Stadium. You're watching Nothing But Sports Productions, 8:42 and counting in this first quarter.
Nice catch by Ryan Williams. He's played freshman, also junior varsity ball, also involved in baseball and wrestling, and a nice job to catch that football and to preserve this drive here for Grapevine.
Grapevine sends a man in motion, D'Angelo Torres in motion to his left. Fake to running back Tellis Redmond, and flushed out of the pocket to Cernusek. He thought about running for it, now finds a receiver. Great vision by Ryan Cernusek. And the receiver he finds on the play signaling first down, that's Jack Brewer, the 180-pound junior.
A lot of time there for the Richland quarterback, and a good read of the field. Found a man open. Looked like he was going to run to start off, but found a man open out there in the right flat. And this is a very impressive drive for Grapevine to start the game, Richard.
Josh Spraker enters the game for Grapevine to give Cernusek the play. Cernusek is behind center. Again, play action fake, drops way back. It's a screen set up for Tellis Redmond, and he has blockers in front of him. Makes a move goes out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Nice play call by the Grapevine coaches. And I think Richland's caught a little off guard here. They're expecting Redmond to run right up the middle. They flushed Cernusek out of the pocket with some success, except Cernusek just has some great vision, able to find receivers. Now that play set up the screen to the left side.
Cernusek has been very patient, Richard. He hasn't let the fact that they've forced him to step up in the pocket rattle him at all. He's been able to pick out secondary receivers and get those little dump passes out in the flat for good yardage.
Grapevine on the move, 2nd and a long 1. And I'll bet you it goes to Redmond. It will, right up the gut. That's a first down, a little bit more. Grapevine inside the red zone for the first time tonight on their very first offensive possession. Pretty good balance here we're seeing from Grapevine, something that their coaches had talked about. Mike Snead had mentioned to me before the game that this was a very balanced offensive attack, and we've seen Redmond running the ball. We've also seen him catching, and we've seen some of the other receivers like Williams get into the act as well.
And the one thing you've shown from that last play is that Redmond is very much able to take a hit. His favorite football player in the NFL, Emmitt Smith, he took a good lick there, but managed to get the first down for Grapevine.
See, his favorite team's the Chicago Bears. Pretty tough bunch there, too.
Exactly.
Cernusek rolling to his right, has 2 blockers in front of him. Now is flushed out of the pocket, gets the ball away. Good play by Cernusek, and a nice run. There's a flag on the play, and I have a feeling maybe an illegal man downfield or a hold on Grapevine, one of the two.
Cernusek looked like he was going to be wrapped up for keeps, but did a nice job that time of getting the pass off.
He found Tyson Olivo, and good heads-up play by Olivo to try to run back to his left. In order to get more yardage, we'll have to await the penalty. And they're going to wave the flag off. That's good news for Mustang fans. 1st and 10. Now I think that's going to be 2nd down now. I'll have to wait and see. That may be a mistake. As the referees try to get themselves in order, and it will be 2nd down. 2nd down and a long 4 for Grapevine. The Mustangs approach the line. Redmond again in the backfield. Cernusek behind center.
Looks to be a passing formation here. Let's see.
It's going to be the toss right with blockers in front of him. Here comes Redmond bowling over Rebel defenseman. And he'll be close to a first down. I think he's got it.
Well, that was some tough running by Redmond there as he looked for a Richland player to bounce off of before he was finally brought down.
Should mention Nick Cervini, the center. As Cernusek approaches the line, that's the man that gives him the football. Done a good job inside.
Cervini, 17 years old. He's a senior. Goes 5'11", 165. Has played football through junior high all the way up to the varsity level. Also plays track and field, soccer, and is a member of the Ninja Club.
Cernusek behind center. We'll give it off to Redmond. Touchdown, Mustangs, no problem. I don't even think he was touched.
What a job by that offensive line, Richard.
Tellis Redmond has scored the first points of the game for Grapevine. They look tremendous on their first offensive possession. And they will try to kick the extra point to give themselves a 7-0 lead. Big for the coaches when you're able to come out defensively, get a big stop, and then go on a great offensive possession, take up some time on the clock, 6:43 left in the first quarter, score of a TD, maybe take the Richland crowd out of it, put your crowd back in it.
And those men in the trenches up front did a fine job that time opening up the hole for Redmond.
Cernasek will hold for his kicker. The kick is up and good. 7-0. Grapevine leads early in this ball game. Scott Thompson kicking the extra point through the uprights.
Well, Grapevine did exactly what they needed to do, Richard, at the beginning of this game. The defense held Richland to 3 downs and out, and then a well-balanced drive by Grapevine, mixing up the short passes along with the running game. They controlled the clock, and they took it in for 6.
And it's the kind of thing that can fire up your defense. They know the offense did its job as the defense did in the first possession for Richland. They must come out and do their job yet again, and it's a big possession for the Rebels. They need to try to tie this game if they can at 7 apiece.
Ryan Cernasek showing some real athletic ability on that drive. He also, besides playing football, also plays basketball, baseball, track, golf, tennis, a Scholar Athlete of the Week, also Player of the Week, and has had the highest completion percentage of the Metroplex, and I believe he only threw 1 incompletion on that drive, Richard.
Yes, he did. Showing a lot of poise for a youngster. Rolling out, looked like he was going to run. We saw him get flushed out of the pocket 3 times. He calmly threw the ball, found the open man. Showing a lot of vision downfield. This guy's got a bright future.
Ryan's favorite NFL player is Drew Bledsoe of the New England Patriots, and he showed a lot of athletic ability on that drive. A couple of times it looked like he was in the grasp of a potential rushing down lineman, but was able to get away and complete the pass.
And Ryan likes Drew enough to name the New England Patriots his favorite NFL team. Grapevine ready for the kickoff. Scott Thompson will kick it off, the same guy that just made the extra point. Nice kick. Richland will try to set up for the return. At the 20, and down again. Grapevine, the special teams fired up, the team fired up. As the Mustangs have a 7-0 lead, their defense will try to come in and shut down the Richland offensive attack. That was for Richland, the man returning the ball, Chris Lovett, the sophomore.
Nice job by the Grapevine special teams that time, Richard. Kick was, you never want your kicker to outkick the coverage, and that time, a lot of hang time on that kick, and it allowed the Grapevine special teams men to go down and make the tackle.
Certainly did, and something the Richland team does a lot is exchange quarterbacks every other drive. They've done it again here. Corey Connolly in at quarterback, and that's Bulash running the football, and he's got wide open field, 1 man to beat, and he beat him. Got some blockers ahead of him. Look at the run here at the 30, the 25, the 20, loses another tackle. Finally dragged down, and what a phenomenal run by Nick Bulash. We've talked about him.
That one cut, Richard, when he was on the far sideline, then cut back to the middle of the field, that was good for at least another 20 yards by Bulash.
Yeah, Tyson Olivo nearly had him near the out-of-bounds mark at about the 40, but he couldn't quite get him. And finally, a couple of Grapevine safeties are able to tackle Bulash, who gets a big play for the Rebels. 1st and 10 inside the red zone. They're at the Grapevine 14-yard line.
Time for the Grapevine defense to step it up here, Richard. You want to take them out right here.
2 backs in the backfield for Richland. It is the up back getting the call. Grapevine defense comes up in a hurry to slam him at the 10-yard line. That's Todd Dodgen, the fullback, who gets the call. Interesting offense by Richland. They are admittedly a little bit one-dimensional, like to run Bulash a lot, sometimes the fullback as well. We'll have to see if the Grapevine defense is looking for the run here.
And a nice defensive play by Jacob Kennedy that time. He read the play, filled the hole, and made the stop.
I formation for the Rebels, 1 wide receiver to the left, and they send a man in motion. Grapevine defense looking for the stop, the run up the middle. Good heads-up play inside the line. The running back getting the call was Corey Connolly, quarterback keeper, faked the run. But Grapevine read that one all the way.
They've done a nice job to this point, with the exception of that incredible run by Bulash at pretty much reading the play, filling the hole, and making the tackle. Jacob Kennedy, Richard, is another one of these fine Grapevine athletes. He's played football from the junior high level on. Also played baseball. He goes 5'7" and 180, born in Bedford, and is favorite NFL player the Moose, of course, Darrell Johnson of the Cowboys.
Richland has called timeout. Good time to talk about some of these Grapevine players. And defense has stepped it up. Outside of the one play by Nick Bulash, the defense has played well this game. It's one of those situations where, as a coach, you want to tell your players, hey, they got one big play. That's all they've had the entire game. Let's not let it bother us. Let's stop them here, hold them to about a field goal.
Exactly. If you're a defensive player for Grapevine right now, you're thinking, hold them to a field goal. If they come away with just a field goal, it's got to dash their momentum a little bit. You have a great run by Bulash there. You'd like to think, if you're a Richland player, you come away with 6. If you hold them to 3, momentum shifts back to Grapevine.
Richland entering the field here, taking their time. 5:12 left in this first half, 7-0 Mustangs. 3rd and 6, a big third down for Richland, probably why they had to call the timeout, having some problems deciding what play to run.
Also, with the crowd level here and the bands, it's got to be very difficult for them to hear the snap count and decide to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Very difficult communicating. We've got a very nice crowd for this very early game, Richard. A 6:30 start and a very nice showing from the fans for both Grapevine and Richland.
And a pretty loud crowd, too.
Exactly.
Connolly behind center for the Rebels. Fakes to its running back, will roll left. And that's a touchdown for Richland. As the player making the play, Todd Dodgen, a great play, the fullback bowls into the end zone. And Grapevine nearly had him. Some of the players helping out. Actually, Tellis Redmond, who was in the game, had a chance to get him at the goal line, couldn't. And Richland able to battle back here, tie this thing at 7 apiece if they make the extra point.
Redmond had a chance on Dodgen at about the 2, and Dodgen just bowled his way and willed himself into the end zone, but a nice effort by Redmond.
Outside of the one big play by Bulash, that's about the only problem with Grapevine defense on that particular drive, and that's exactly what Richland needed. Now Grapevine needs to settle themselves down, get Cernisek and the offense back on the field and see if they can do something. 7-7 your score as Richland makes good on the extra point. David McKinney, the kicker, kicking it through the uprights. The Grapevine coaches hustling out to the field, Mike Sneed included in that bunch.
Well, they did a nice job that time on defensively in terms of allowing only the one big play by Bulash. The defense really made Richland work very hard on that drive in terms of running the ball. Mike Sneed, a veteran of the Gridiron Wars, he's been here coaching for 12 years at Grapevine, total of 23 years coaching. He has a master's in education from UNT. Also played high school football and baseball in Weatherford. He's coached in the state football game in 1974 at Aledo. Also coached in the state baseball tournament in 1980 at Aledo and made the 5A state playoffs in 1993 and this year. Also, cannot be too terribly surprised by the competitive level of this game. He's been to the state playoffs. He understands what it's all about, and I'm sure he's doing his best to keep his players on the sideline focused in terms of not letting that one run, that one big play by Bulash really rattle their confidence.
He's got a good core of assistant coaches as well, which we've got to get to later, including Gary Olivo, whose son actually plays for the Mustangs.
Gary Olivo has coached 10 years for Grapevine. He's coached a total of 19 years, also coached in high school at Lubbock Coronado and in college at Angelo State University. And he is an excellent classroom instructor. He also teaches history and world history.
And his philosophy, interesting, improve each week. Also probably the philosophy of his team, and I'm sure the coaches have tried to instill that in Grapevine. You want to improve each week, and this is the kind of situation where you're hoping you've improved all season enough to where you're in the playoffs and having a chance to win. And here's Tellis Redmond. He's got some running room.
Middle of the field.
Redmond is at the 35 to 40. One guy to beacon. It's the kicker, and he can't quite get there. What a great run by Tellis Redmond. He's been doing that the entire year. Takes the kickoff and runs it back 55 yards to the Richland 45-yard line. One man to beat the kicker for Richland. Good heads-up play by David McKinney. But Tellis Redmond nearly had about a 100-yard run.
And Richard, when your team is down, you've seen the other team drive the length of the field and tie the game. You always expect your big play guys to make a play that'll get you back into the game momentum-wise, and a spectacular return by Redmond.
So Grapevine will start with great field position at the Richland 44 3/4, if you want to get exact. 7-7 your score, 4:55 left in the first quarter. A big possession for Grapevine. The momentum has swung to Richland. They'd like to take it back. 3 wide receivers set, trips to the right of Cernisek. One running back behind him. You know who it is. Fake draw to Redmond. And a wide open receiver. Great move. And he will go out of bounds at the 31-yard line. D'Angelo Torres, the wide receiver, one of Cernasek's favorite receivers. And there were actually two guys of the three open on that particular play. And a simple up and out for Torres. And he's able to get the ball, make a move, and get to the 29-yard line. Another first down.
They did a nice job of spreading the field, and they had receivers spread out all over the field, made it very difficult for the defensive backs to hone in on one running back.
Grapevine approaches the line. They're at the 30-yard line. First and 10, 4:49 remaining in the first quarter. Grapevine on the move again. Man in motion for the Mustangs. The give is to Tellus Redmond. He gets about 2 yards on the play, fighting his way with second effort for an extra yard.
Well, now the ball has shifted to the other end of the court. Richland's going to try and deny Grapevine a score here after that spectacular return by Redmond to set them up in Richland territory.
Interesting, when you got a great running team and a great running back like Tellus Redmond, a lot of the credit's got to go to the offensive line. They're the unsung heroes of this football team. And a lot of these guys have been in there. They've been in the muck, you know, they've been in the mud, the bad games. They're always there blocking, doing their job, and just go about it in a quiet manner. And you can just see the pride when they know if a guy like Redmond gets in the end zone, it has a lot to do with them blocking their man and creating the holes for Tellus to run through.
Richland doing a nice job keying that time. They know the ball is going to go to Redmond, but they're not quite sure how often. Richland has done a nice, Grapevine has done a nice job spreading the field. They've come up several times in this game, Richard, with that one-back formation where they line up with 4 wideouts, and I'm sure it's created a lot of confusion in that Richland secondary.
Number 78, Randy Morgan, really holding the right side of the line very well. He's had a couple of good blocks down there low. And trips will set up left for Ryan Cernasek. Ellis Redmond in the backfield. We'll see if they run the same play they did about 3 plays ago. They will try to, but a good play by Richland as Redmond couldn't quite get back in time to make the block. A little upset with himself. Nothing he could do, just a great defensive play by the Rebels. And that will back up Grapevine. And I think that's a 4th down situation. 4th and 16, and Grapevine will have to punt the football.
Well, if you're going to have to punt, Richard, this is an ideal opportunity. If you get a good punt, angle it out, try and kill the ball inside the 10, and count on your defense to pin them down deep in Richland territory.
This is called going for the coffin corner, and we'll see how well Scott Thompson does at that goal. And the officials have stopped play. It's going to be a timeout for Grapevine. I have a feeling they didn't have enough players on the field. I count 10, and I think that was probably the problem. 2:47 left in the first quarter, 7-7 your score. 4th down and 16, ball on the 36-yard line of Richland for the Grapevine Mustangs.
And Scott Thompson, the Grapevine punter, this is his 3rd year of varsity football, also played junior high, middle school, and Pee Wee football, also plays track. His favorite NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys. And interesting, Richard, his favorite player, a fellow punter and plays kicker, Brad DeLuiso of the New York Giants, also in 1994-95, second team All-District in 5A. And he'll have an excellent opportunity here if he can get an angling kick to pin Richland down deep in their own territory.
This is when it's fun to be a kicker. You get to see how accurate you can possibly be. And the goal of every punter is to get that within the 5-yard line. You need to have help from your team usually, but at this point in the field, Thompson's just going to angle that thing and try to hit the coffin corner, which is that area out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. You back up a team like Richland and hope your defense can stop them, and you play a game of field position, and that's exactly what the Mustangs have to do here, tied at 7. Thompson receives the kick. He'll angle it to the left. We'll see how well he does. Pretty well.
Nice job out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
Now they're going to mark it at about the 9, inside the 10-yard line. And
you couldn't ask for a better kick, Richard.
What a great kick by Scott Thompson. He's got to be thrilled. The Grapevine Mustang defense will head back onto the field for their 3rd attempt at stopping Richland. Last time Richland had the ball, Nick Boulash on a big run of about 65 yards sparked that offensive series. We'll see how Grapevine does. Probably looking for him to get the ball again.
This Grapevine defense has had an opportunity to see Boulash on that first series, and you think they've learned a lot from that first series. It's going to really key on him here.
Lee Davis is back in the game at quarterback. Very strange. And a fumble, and Grapevine may have the football. They do. Grapevine's got it. What a huge recovery. Great play by Kyle Kuntz to hustle and jump on that ball. Good play also in there by Ronnie Eaton, who was able to jar the ball loose. And what a great play for Grapevine. They have phenomenal field position. We talked about the punter, Scott Thompson, doing his job. His punt inside the 10-yard line. The next offensive play for Richland, they struggle, they have trouble. I think it was just a matter of Lee Davis just couldn't communicate with his center to get the ball. And right from the start, the ball squirts forward. Grapevine jumps on it. And this is a time when the coaches are saying to themselves, we just got a freebie inside the red zone at the 13-yard line, about the 12 actually.
Richard, it looked like Thomas, the Richland quarterback, had a problem backing away from center to handle that football and then fumbled. This is where you really want to try and hit him heavy with the first play and get the score.
It'll be Redmond right up the middle. No gain. He's 2nd and 10. May have gotten 1 yard. He did, he got 1 yard. 2nd and 9 for Grapevine. Hustling in to bring the play is Tyson Olivo. And hustling out will be Ryan Williams, who made a catch on the last drive. And Josh Spraker, who has also had a nice play tonight. Cernisek behind center. 3 wideouts, 1 to his left, 2 to his right, and a wide receiver in the slot. He's going to throw the football. Cernisek rolling right, finds a man. Couldn't quite hang on, does D'Angelo Torres.
Good protection that time, though, for Cernisek, Richard. He had time to read the field, roll right, and unfortunately for Grapevine, the pass was incomplete.
1:51 left in the first quarter. 7-7 your score, Richland and Grapevine. The Mustangs trying to keep this drive alive. It is 3rd and 9. They do not have to reach the goal line for a first down. A first down would occur at the 2. As it stands now, they're on the 11-yard line of Richland.
You definitely want to come away with some points on this, Richard. You got to come away with at least a field goal here.
Cernicek behind center. Takes a 3-step drop, will throw in the end zone. Almost a great catch between 2 defenders. A very tough throw and a tough catch to make. Grapevine couldn't quite reel it in.
Cernisek really put some mustard on that pass, Richard. He really fired that one.
Good effort by Tyson Olivo, but he couldn't quite come up with it.
And of course, Richard, this entire offensive series was set up with a spectacular fumble recovery by Brian Richardson, number 60. Brian has played 3 years of football, started off playing Pee Wee, 2 years in middle school, 1 year of freshman football, also junior varsity, 2 years varsity, a total of 12 years of football experience.
It'll be a field goal opportunity for the Mustangs. The kick is up and good, and Grapevine takes the 10-7 lead, and Scott Thompson sure has done it all tonight. Good punt and a nice field goal.
And you did what you wanted to do. You get some points off the turnover.
10-7 your score, favors the Mustangs. 1:42 left in the first quarter. We'll take time out. You're watching Nothing But Sports Productions. 10-7 Mustangs over the Rebels. 1:42 left in the first quarter. Grapevine has just kicked the field goal. They'll kick it off to Richland. The story of this game has been the running attack of both teams, plus a little bit of passing we've seen from Grapevine. They've moved Cernisek out of the pocket, rolled him a little bit left, a little bit right. He prefers the right side, it appears.
Cernisek seems to be much more comfortable, Richard, when he's throwing from the moving pocket. His offensive line has done a great job of giving him time to read the field and get off some pretty accurate throws.
Special teams, an interesting position. You know, the guys that don't get much playing time get a chance to play in the special teams and run down there and try to make a tackle. It's an interesting bunch of football players.
And they definitely set the tone, I think, many times for your team at the beginning of a game.
Pretty good run back for Richland, but a good heads-up play. Didn't quite make the tackle, but at least slowed the running back down. And that was Mike Boyle. No, it wasn't, excuse me. It was actually number 55, Shane McGowan.
Nice downfield presence by the specialty teams for Grapevine. They've so far done a great job of getting down and making the play.
The Grapevine playing theme songs from exciting movies tonight, apparently. And yes, we have a new quarterback for Richland, Corey Connolly, back again. Give to the fullback, and he's got some running room all the way up to the 38-yard line. Be interesting to see the Grapevine Mustang scheme here, as it appears Richland just wants to run it right up the gut the entire night.
Richard, Grapevine's done a nice job trying to key on Boulash, but he bounces off those downfield pursuers much in the same way as a pinball bounces off bumpers, and he seems to pick up some velocity as he bounces off tacklers.
Richland back up to the line. 2 wide receivers to Conway's left and 2 running backs. Boulash, one of those backs, and he gets the give to the right side. Great defensive play by 2 Mustangs. Good play by Brandon Battles. Also getting into the act, Shane McGowan, the same guy that made the good play on the punt return, and half of that offensive line that I can't mention. Just good gang tackling by the Grapevine defensive line.
That's the only way you're going to bring down a fine running back like Boulash. You got to gang tackle him, follow the football, and just try and key on him.
Richland approaching the line. Same set, 2 wide receivers to Conway's left, Boulash and the fullback dodging in the backfield. Quick throw, and it catches Grapevine a little off guard, and Richland will get a first down. Coming up from his position to make the tackle, Josh Azimi. And if it wasn't for Azimi's tackle, Richland may have been off to the races.
There were not a whole lot of white jerseys when that pass was completed, and a nice job reading the play there by Azimi coming over and making the tackle.
1st and 10, Richland on the move at the Grapevine 44-yard line. These are 2 very evenly matched teams. We get a score of 10-7, pretty evenly matched game so far. 27 seconds left in the first quarter. Conway behind center, I formation. The give is to Boulash, cutting to his left, and great gang tackling.
Nice defensive.
Oh, and Boulash gets away. He fumbles the football, and Grapevine has the ball. Great recovery on the play for Grapevine. Nick Chikowitz, good heads-up play, and you can see in your picture right now, that's Mike Sneed motioning, yes, sir, we do have the football.
Big play in the game, Richard. Big play in the game.
Very proud of his defensive guys. It was good tackling by T.J. Bass. Also getting into the act, Alan Crawford for Grapevine, and these guys are fired up, and you're watching number 51, Chikowitz, who made the fumble recovery. And
Richard, T.J. Bass leading the defensive surge there, helping to force that play. Very good athletic ability. Played Pee Wee football, also middle school football, 3 years of varsity football, and is also a baseball player. And he really led that downfield surge for Grapevine defensively.
Boy, what a big turnover that is for Grapevine. Turnasek back in the pocket. He'll roll a little bit to his left. The throw. Oh, great catch on the play. Grapevine still running the football. He fumbled the football, though. And they may give Richland the football here.
I think they're going to call that the ball was down by contact, Richard.
A phenomenal call by the official. It certainly was down. I wasn't sure if that's what they were going to give the call, but that was a great call. Jack Brewer making the play, bobbled it for a moment. He lost sight of it as he had 2 defensive backs coming toward him. The ball bounced off his hands up in the air. He gets turned around, still makes the catch, and still gets a first down.
Richard, the Grapevine fans have got to be feel very good about that call. I know the Richland fans aren't real happy about it. You could tell if you looked at the play, ball was down on contact, and a great deal of athletic ability there by the wide receiver to make the catch.
It was definitely a good call by the officials. Grapevine has crossed midfield, and that may be the end of the quarter. It is. End of the first quarter. The Mustangs 10, the Rebels 7. What a great play by Chikowitz on the fumble recovery.
It was a great deal of hustle on that play. Chikowitz hustling to get to that fumble, and if Grapevine can score here, they really would have momentum on their side in terms of being able to convert those 2 turnovers into points. Chikowitz doing a nice job defensively in this game.
Well, the entire defense came up big, and that was a big defensive play. You know, Richland on the move in that situation, and it was just a lot of guys contributing. It looked like they had him tackled for possibly a loss or no gain. Boulash gets away, but then makes a fatal mistake caused by some great defensive play, and Chikowitz, the lucky party who's able to recover the fumble.
They've been very aggressive outside of that one big play, trying to key on Boulash, bump him around, let him know that they're out there coming to get him.
At the end of the first quarter, they'll switch sides. And Grapevine heading toward the goal line now, have crossed the 50-yard line at the 43 of Richland. And this is a big offensive possession. You talk about momentum switches. Certainly Grapevine has the football, but they need to capitalize by scoring the touchdown.
Richard Chikowitz, who made that defensive play, he's played football since 7th grade at Colleyville Middle School, a power lifter. His favorite NFL team, the Cowboys, and his favorite player is the entire Cowboy team.
Well, it's got to be a thrill for Chikowitz to play in Texas Stadium and recover a fumble. That's great. Grapevine does send a man in motion, flushed out of the pocket, and the Richland Rebel coaching staff is demanding
they want a
intentional grounding
call here, Richard.
They want intentional grounding, but because he was hit, I think it's probably a good call, allowing Ryan Cernisek to get away with one there. He really didn't have a receiver in the area. Probably could have been called, but wasn't.
And Richard, that's the first time we've seen Richland put some pressure on Cernisek. A great job done by those offensive linemen in the trenches for Grapevine.
Grapevine huddling up. Josh Spraker coming in to give instructions to Ryan Cernisek. Ryan has had a good outing so far tonight, as has the Grapevine offense for the most part. The team in general playing pretty well with 11:56 left in the half. Cernisek's going to throw deep. He has a man intercepted on the play. And Richland has the football. Running is Brian Baker, and he's tackled. Pretty good tackle by a fired up Chris Kidwell, offensive line player. But a big play for Richland. As soon as Grapevine gets the ball back, they give it away.
Richard, I think the adrenaline may have gotten to Cernisek there. He put a lot of mustard on that football when he threw the pass. You could tell it bounced off the receiver's hands right into the hands of a Grapevine player.
Well, the Grapevine Mustang defense has to battle back now. Richland has the football at their own 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Rebels. Lee Davis in at quarterback. The give is up the middle. Not too much yardage, and Grapevine felt like they had the football, but they don't.
Nice defensive read there by the defensive front for Grapevine, Richard. They are doing a nice job keying on the running backs for Richland.
It's funny, Chikowitz came up and acted like he had another fumble recovery, but not quite. 11:22 and counting in the second quarter.
Well, one thing about it, Richard, Grapevine is not backing off. They didn't let that long run by Boulash intimidate them. They've done a nice job keying on the running backs for Richland.
Both bands having a little fun here in Texas Stadium tonight, as Richland runs the option, but they gave it to the fullback before they ran the option with Davis and Boulash, and the fullback, Todd Dodgen. Not much yardage as Grapevine read that play all the way. Big third down for the Mustang defense here. Coach Mike Sneed walking around the sideline, certainly realizing that as Richland makes some substitutions here. Interesting play selection for Richland right here with 10:42 left in the half. 3rd and 3, one of those situations where you could probably run for it, but you could probably pass for it too. And
try a little dump pass out in the flat. Play action, fake the run into the middle of the line.
They're going to go a toss sweep left. Grapevine looking for it, but good blocking by Richland will get Boulash the first down.
He didn't get it by much, Richard. Nice defensive presence there by Grapevine again.
It was nearly a great play up there at the line, but good gang tackling and sticking his nose in the football game, Jack Brewer, who also made a great catch on that last drive for the Mustangs. 10:20 and counting.
If you're Grapevine, Richard, you want to try and get the football back. They got the football on a turnover. You want to make sure they don't get any points out of this drive.
4-3 defensive alignment for the Mustangs. Strange running formation, doesn't fool Grapevine at all as 4 tacklers in on the play.
Nice defensive presence by Grapevine on that play, Richard.
John Holzoffel with a nice defensive play, and he was helped by a couple of teammates. Mike Boyle for one. Good gang tackling. This is a very strong defensive front. Defensive line very good for Grapevine. And Brian Richardson, who has already had 1 fumble recovery tonight, he commands in the huddle this defense. 4-3 alignment again from Grapevine. I formation for the Rebels. They look for play action fake or a possible run. It will be a run. Boulash up the middle. He's got some running room, and he will have another Richland first down. And when it looks like Grapevine's made a big play, Nick Boulash has come back and made a very nice run for Richland. And Grapevine not allowing him to do the big run he did at the beginning of the game, but still enough yardage for a first down.
Well, you can tell, Richard, that whenever Richland is in adversity, they'll go to their home run hitter, their big play guy. It's Boulash. He's the guy that gets the football in tough, short yardage situations where they need to get a first down.
Davis behind center for Richland. Split backfield. The gives to Bulash again. Hit big by Grapevine.
Once again, Nick Bulash on the carry.
Good play by two Grapevine tacklers. Chris Kidwell making a good play, as did Ryan Williams.
Also assisting on the play was Alex Pahula.
Also a nice play by Alex Pahula.
Second down, 8.
Second down and 8 for the Richland Rebels. They have crossed midfield. They're in Grapevine territory, on the move, split backfield, running back in motion. Interesting, they're going to halfback pitch. He's going to throw the football, and this may be intercepted. No, but a great defensive play by Jack Brewer, who got back and read that all the way. It was looked like it was going to be a simple toss right. Instead, they toss it to the man going in motion for Richland.
Ball was nearly picked off there, Richard. Fine defensive play by Brewer in the secondary.
It was Skyback, and Skyback tried to throw the football. Pretty nice throw, nice spiral, but just Grapevine secondary came up big. Third and a long 8 for Richland. This is a big defensive play for Grapevine. They want to try to get the football back. Fake to Bulash, and Davis has some running room. He is close to the first down.
If he made it, Richard, he made it by maybe half the length of the football.
It looked like Chris Beam made the play, and I have a feeling he is just short. They're going to have to measure. We'll have to wait and see. Boy, it appeared that actually it was Brandon Battles that it appeared to make the play, but just barely came up short. And this is huge. May have a big chance for Richland. They may decide to go for it if they're short. I really think they're short.
Richard, a couple of plays ago,
they are short.
That near interception by Jack Brewer, showcasing his athletic ability. He also plays track and basketball. Also goes pretty good dimension-wise for a defensive back. 6'1", 175. His favorite NFL team, the Vikings, and his favorite NFL player, Michael Irvin. He has participated in track and field in 1995, a national championship.
Well, here we go. The play of the game so far. 8:04 remaining in the first half. Richland is going to go for it. Their quarterback hustling back to talk to their coach. The 25-second clock hasn't started yet, so he's allowed to do that.
Richard, this is where the Grapevine defense really needs that 12th man. They need the crowd to get involved in this game.
Richland needs 6 inches. I have a feeling it might go to either the fullback or Bulash. 3 in the backfield for the Rebels. The give is to the fullback. Gang tackle by Grapevine. It's going to be close, but I think he did get the first down, but barely.
Nice job reading the play and meeting the running back at the point of attack. They got the first down, but nice presence by that front four for Grapevine.
It goes for naught, though, as Richland keeps the drive alive. 1st and 10. They're at the Grapevine 33-yard line. 7:43 left in the second quarter. Richland has the ball as a result of an interception after Grapevine recovered a fumble by Bulash. Split backfield. Motion, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty against Richland as Todd Dodgen, the fullback, got a little hasty there. Started to move just a little bit early. And that's an important play because if Grapevine stops the next 3 downs, Richland will be out of field goal territory. And we should mention the Rebels have an excellent special team, so their field goal kicker has known to be able to kick very long field goals. In fact, I think he may have kicked one over 50 yards this season for the Rebels.
And Richard, the way these defenses are battling back and forth between the 20s, a 5-yard penalty like that really is a very big play.
They fake the toss to Bulash, but the Grapevine defensive line is not fooled at all.
Fine defensive read on that play, Richard.
Good play by Alex Pahulu. Also getting in on the play, Mike Boyle.
Richard, Alex Pahulu leading the defensive surge there. Has played football since he was 6 years old. Also is involved in track, the shot put, throws the discus. Is a heavyweight wrestler. Favorite NFL team, the Cowboys. Favorite defensive players, Leon Lett and Dana Stubblefield. And he really looked like those two guys, the way he led the defensive surge for Grapevine on that play.
Interesting play call by Richland, but it doesn't result in any yardage gain. In fact, it's a little bit of a loss. Richland forced to throw the ball. It's caught, but not enough for a first down as Grapevine hustling to tackle the wide receiver. Catch was made by Justin Sandin, but the secondary for Grapevine, the Mustangs, doing the right things there and at least holding him for less than first down yardage. Big third down here, 3rd and 2.5, we'll call it.
Nice recovery there by the Grapevine secondary, Richard. He caught the ball, but he did not get any rack yards as they thumped him as soon as he caught it.
One back in the backfield for Richland, and they will throw. Good crossing route, and they get the first down. Good slant pattern that time, ran by David McKinney, who also does the kicking for Richland, and he's able to get the first down as the Rebels keep the drive alive. Again, it's been third down situations where the Rebels have barely gotten the first down, but they've been able to keep the drives alive. Grapevine Mustang defense looking to come up a little bit bigger in those third down situations.
And a nice hit there by Ryan Williams, the linebacker for Grapevine. He got that first down, but not by much.
I formation for the Rebels. Davis behind center. The give is to Bulash. And Bulash just has such a low center of gravity. The first hit usually just doesn't get that kid down.
He's able to bounce off would-be tacklers, Richard, keep his legs moving and pick up an extra 4, 5, 6 yards.
Jack Brewer helping out at the end of the play, making the tackle on Bulash.
Richard, we were talking about Jack Brewer just a few moments ago. He was 4th in the Junior Olympics in 1994, both in the triple jump. Also tied a state record for 15-year-olds in the triple jump.
So a track star as well. Richland continues their drive, 2nd and 3. Give to the fullback, and he's in for the touchdown. Surprised Grapevine a little bit as Corey Fry, good heads-up play, ran through the center of that line, and Grapevine tried to make the initial tackle, couldn't, and then it was sheer speed by Fry to get in the end zone for the Rebels. They have a 13-10 lead and an important extra point coming up as they try to give themselves a 4-point lead. 4:40 left, plenty of time for the Mustangs to drive it back down, take the lead, and go into the locker room with a lot of momentum.
And Richard, the one thing about that drive by Richland, they did not get that drive and get that score off one big play. Grapevine playing very solid defense. They forced him to have to make a couple of key third down runs and or passes. So a nice defensive stand by Grapevine, even though they do give up the score.
The extra point is up and good. And Richland takes the 14-10 lead. 14-10, Rebels over the Mustangs, 4:40 left in the second quarter. Halftime coming up, not before the Mustangs get one more offensive possession. We'll take time out. You're watching Nothing But Sports Productions. Neil, Amy, Richard Durrett, Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. It's high school football. It's the playoffs, and it's Grapevine versus Richland. 4:40 left in the second quarter. 14-10, the Rebels have the early lead. Grapevine, pretty big possession coming up for the Grapevine Mustang offense. They're able to waste 4:40 on the clock, stick it in the end zone right before halftime. Mike Sneed's club will have a little momentum and the lead, about 17-14.
And for this Grapevine offense, Richard, 4 minutes and 40 seconds is a wealth of time. This will be a real good emotional barometer of this Grapevine team to see how they respond after Richland took the lead off the interception and marched down the field, finally able to punch it in.
Grapevine setting up for the return. Pretty big special teams performance right now. These kids, you talk about it, they're not on the field very much, but they certainly have a very important role in this football game.
Special teams really set the tone.
And Richland playing smart. They want to kick it away from Redmond. Grapevine will pick it up and still get pretty good field position at about the 31 or 32 yard line. They're going to mark it at the 32. And one of the upbacks, Brandon Battles, picks up the ball and gets a pretty good run back. You could see Richland did not want to let Tellus Redmond beat him, at least with a long kickoff return. He had a pretty good return last time out.
They do not want Redmond to beat him with the long return and get Grapevine back into the game off one big play.
Regardless, Battle picks up the ball, still gets pretty good field position, 32-yard line. It's pretty obvious what Grapevine has to do. They need to go 68 yards and stick it in the end zone and take the lead back from Richland. Zernasek behind center, has Redmond in the backfield, trips to his right, and look for him to fake to Redmond and roll right. He will roll right. Thought about the screen, will try to throw it, and Redmond is tripped on the play. No interference call as Grapevine tried to fool the Richland defense, put the trips to the right side, ran the trips deep, and were hoping to come back to Redmond, but Richland read the play and made the correct defensive call.
Richland made a good defensive adjustment to that play, and pass falls incomplete with 4:30 left to go. But the one thing that we've seen from this first half of football from Grapevine, Richard, their ability to balance the offense, run the football, throw a little dump pass out in the flat, get good yardage out of it.
4:30 left in the first half. Cernicek trying to rally the troops here. He has 4 wide receivers. You rarely see this from Grapevine. 2 to his left and 2 to his right. He's going to look right, will throw back left. Now he's on the run. Throws across the middle. Oh, what a great
catch,
grab
Richard.
On a busted play, and Grapevine gets a break as the up back, I think it was Redmond actually, had the ball go through his hands. It did, and the catch was made. Good heads-up play by T.J. Bass.
What a catch by Bass, Richard, off the deflection. And on a play like that, it really takes a great deal of concentration when you've seen that ball deflect off one of your teammates and continue to follow the flight of that ball into your own hands. Nice catch by Bass.
Keeps the drive alive. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. They're on the move at the 46-yard line. And again, we see some wide formation, spread offense from Grapevine. Haven't seen much of this tonight. Trips to the right and a wide receiver to the left. Tellis Redmond in the backfield. Cernicek will pass the football. He'll go left on a crossing pattern. Has a wide receiver. Good tackle by Richland, but not before Tyson Oliva gains about 6 or 7 yards.
Nice protection for Cernicek on that pass. And on that deflected ball off Redmond that was caught by Bass. Bass also plays baseball, plays in the outfield. He showed a lot of baseball ability there, looking that ball into his hands to make the catch.
3:48 left, 14-10 Rebels. The clock is running as Cernicek rallies the team. The offensive line really has come up big so far on this drive. Ryan's had plenty of time to throw the football. Redmond in the backfield, 4 wide receivers set again, 3 to Cernicek's right, and Redmond will finally get the give, and Richland ready for it. He gains about 1 or 2 yards, will bring up a big 3rd down situation, 3rd and a long 1. It'll be interesting to see Mike Sneed's call in this situation.
Richard, Coach Sneed rolling the dice here. We've seen some formations on this series that we've not seen early in the game. We've seen them light up with no backs in the backfield and 4 wideouts, trying to give Richland something that they haven't seen before, keep them off the
However, it is a spread that Grapevine's familiar with. They ran it a lot in the regular season. I was surprised we didn't see it in the first and part of the second quarter. We're seeing it now, and they're having some success. Cernicek behind center again. Redmond, the lone backer, 4 wide receivers, 3 to Cernicek's right. He looks that way, will roll that way, and throw that way. Redmond, he's got him at the 40, scoots behind a tackle at the 30, all the way down to the 25-yard line and out of bounds. Tellis Redmond has kept the drive alive. Great call on 3rd and 1. You don't run it right up the middle. Play action fake. You roll to the left, throw back right, and Redmond a little out and up, able to get a good chunk of yardage, about 20 to 25 yards. And Grapevine on the move at the 25-yard line of Richland, nearing the red zone.
And Richard, once again, some nice judgment there by Redmond. He was able to catch the ball, stay in bounds, pick up some more yardage, but then get out of bounds when he saw he couldn't bust the play for 6.
3 wide receivers, this time to Cernicek's left. The give is to Redmond up the middle. Redmond has some move. He has some room and some blockers all the way down to the 7 or 8 yard line. And Grapevine sure has mixed up the pass and run very well. A balanced attack, mostly throwing the football this drive, but Redmond certainly had the blocks and the holes to run through in that situation.
The offensive line has really won the battle on the line of scrimmage on this series, Richard. They've protected well for Cernicek and allowed him to throw from a moving pocket. And at the same time, on the running plays, they've opened up those gaping holes for Redmond.
Grapevine trying to stick it in the end zone, 2:22 and counting in the first half, 14-10 Rebels, but the Mustangs trying to put it in. Redmond spins around a tackle, goes all the way down to the 2 yard line. Good second effort by Tellis Redmond. We've talked about him all night. He's had most of the carries from the backfield, has just about all of them for Grapevine. He gets down to the 2 yard line. It will be 2nd and goal for Grapevine, 2 minutes left in the first half. This has been a great drive for Grapevine. It's consumed a good portion of the clock. It's been a fairly quick drive, but they probably want to slow it down now, let that clock run. Don't want to give the Rebels a chance to come back and score. They want to take the momentum into the locker room.
You want to try and only leave them a little under a minute left and leave very little sand in the hourglass for Richland.
1:40 left, 7 on the clock. Quarterback sneak up the middle. No touchdown signal. It appeared Cernicek was just short, maybe a couple of inches short. 3rd and goal, 1:25 left. It will be 3rd and a short 1. Interesting call for Mike Sneed. 23 and 22, the clock is counting down as Grapevine makes some substitutions.
Richard, I'd be shocked if you didn't see the ball go to Redmond here. Big back, can take a lick. I would be very surprised if we don't see him get the football down here.
Wide receiver in the slot, though, and 1 to Cernisek's left. It's going to Redmond. Touchdown, Grapevine. Good call, great blocking. That's how you do it, the offensive line, and not a bad block by Tyson Olivo himself.
And Richard, I'm sorry, they left them with a little under a minute left by the time they kicked this extra point. A nice job consuming the clock on that drive. I think they used, what, about 4:40 on the clock, give or take?
They used about 4 minutes. They used a little bit less than 4 minutes. A good drive for the Mustangs. They take the 16-14 lead, and Scott Thompson, who's played very well tonight, will try to give Grapevine a 17-14 lead. 56 seconds left. That is all that Richland has to work with. And Mustang fans do remember that Grapevine will get the ball first in the second half. The extra point is good by Thompson, and Grapevine takes the 3-point lead as the teams prepare for kickoff. That offensive line getting the job done for Grapevine.
The offensive line really turned the momentum back around in favor of Grapevine. They were able to win the battle on the line of scrimmage, both to open up the holes for Redmond and give Cernisek time to throw. And you could tell, Richard, as you watch that drive develop, that a lot of these Richland defensive backs were a little bit thrown in some of those formations where they lined up with all wide receivers and nobody in the backfield on several of those plays.
Looking at the Grapevine Mustang bench as we pan out, you see Texas Stadium, the Cowboy Field. Got to be a thrill for these kids to play in front of a pretty good crowd on hand, too, on both sides. The empty seats that you see around the both 40-yard lines, those are the bands, and they've left and gone down to the field to try to perform for us at halftime, which you will see here on Nothing But Sports Productions. Grapevine Mustang band to your left, preparing to go on. And since Grapevine's the visitor, they will go first, as far as I know.
And Richard, the thing about it, in this stadium, the sound amplifies so well, irregardless of the actual number of people here. You get a lot of fans making a lot of noise. It really means a lot to those players when they hear their fans cheering for them. I can tell you on that last drive, the Grapevine fans were very much into it.
Looking at Battles trying to rally the troops here. This is that special teams bunch we talked about. A lot of these guys are just thrilled to be on the field in Texas Stadium. Kevin Vest, one of those guys. McGowan out there, Parent. Thompson, the kicker. These guys just love what they do. Mark Cullup, another guy to mention.
And with 56 seconds left in this half, Richard, you can better believe that those special teams players for Grapevine are going down there looking for a strip.
Thompson will kick it.
Get a turnover.
Thompson will kick it between Boyle and Kuntz as Grapevine heads down. Richland trying to set up for a return. They need a big return here, and they will not get it. Good heads-up play by the Grapevine special teams, and that's a situation where one of the guys making the tackle, number 55, McGowan, was actually blocked down to the ground. He got right back up, and sure enough, the running back ran right toward his way, and he made the tackle. That is good coaching and good playing by a good special teams squad.
One of the things you learn if you're a special teams player, Richard, you never give up on the play. If you're blocked, you get up, you keep running, you keep hustling until you can see the ball carriers brought down.
Richland has switched quarterbacks again. They alternate every single drive. They've done it the entire year with a lot of success. Corey Conaway gives it to the running back, Bulash. Bulash fumbles the football but regains it on about the 34-yard line. Whistle's been blown. And a Richland player, I think, is very, very injured. And it appears to be Bulash, and it is.
Now, that will certainly take a little bit of the air out of the balloon for Richland.
What may have happened, Bulash did slightly fumble that ball. He may have fallen on the ball and gotten the wind knocked out of him. And that's a scary thing as a player. I hope he's not seriously injured. Nick Bulash has had a phenomenal year. In fact, Bulash, along with their other running back, Todd Dodgen for the Rebels, combined for over 200 yards in last week's game. They had a ton of yards rushing. And these two backs get the job done for Richland. This could be a big loss for them. 40 seconds left in the half. And even if you're a Mustang fan, you certainly hope Nick Bulash isn't injured.
Talent is talent, Richard, irregardless of what color the uniform is. Bulash has had a spectacular year, and we hope to make his return back into the football game.
Let's talk a little bit about the Grapevine Mustang defensive line, if we can. These guys have played pretty well tonight. They've got to apply the pressure on both of the quarterbacks for Richland, and they've had the tough task of trying to stop the player you see injured on the field right now at about the 35-yard line. That's Nick Bulash. And the Grapevine players are on one knee here watching, hoping that Bulash is okay. That's a very good sign. And you see them there on the right portion of your screen.
Richard, one of the men anchoring that fine defensive line for Grapevine, Mike Ward, 17 years old, a senior, goes 5'10" and 160. His third year playing football at Grapevine. Also was involved in wrestling and powerlifting. And when you're being asked to bring down a very strong, tough running back like Bulash, who we see walking off now into his own power.
Certainly there are a lot of good players on that line. Parent, another. Just the quiet guys that go about their business, are able to get the job done. Ronnie Eaton, all those guys on that line.
The linebackers have been very much involved, also trying to key on that fine running game of Richland. Cody Lovelace, one of those fine linebackers, played Colleyville Middle School football, also Grapevine Junior High football, and he helps to anchor that linebacking core for Grapevine.
30 seconds left. Richland trying to score at least a field goal before half. Grapevine defense, phenomenal play. And that may be all she wrote for this drive. Richland may try to call a quick timeout. 21 seconds left. Boy, the Mustang defense read that play. The first time Richland ran that quick pass, which is technically a lateral, so if the ball is dropped, it's a fumble in that situation. The first time they ran it, Richland had a lot of success, but these guys are quick learners, and Grapevine looking for it on that play, able to stop it. Two backs in the backfield, Fry taking the place of Bulash.
Good pressure.
And what a phenomenal play.
Good pressure on the quarterback that time.
Great play for the Grapevine Mustangs, the whole defensive line. Alex Pahula got up there in a hurry and made the play, and Richland content to let the clock run out. We have reached halftime. Your halftime score, the Grapevine Mustangs 17, the Richland Rebels 14. Be interesting to see coming back out. Grapevine will get the kickoff. They will get a chance to go on offense and maybe take control of this ball game.
Richard, if they could come out in the second half, maintain the football, keep possession of it, crank out some first downs, and drive the length of the field for 6, it'll really put a lot of pressure on Richland.
The Grapevine Band entering the field. You're watching Nothing But Sports Productions. It's halftime here at Texas Stadium. Coleman, Cameron Knight, and ladies and gentlemen, the Grapevine. Gene Tucker and Chris Roberts. And now, the Grapevine Hollyville Independent School District is proud to present the Grapevine High School Mustang Band. Richard Durda, Neil Amy here at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Your halftime score, Grapevine 17, Richland 14. Pretty good first half for Grapevine. They get the momentum at the end of the half. A nice looking drive capped by the TD.
The defense for Grapevine really set the tone. They were able to control the football. They allowed only one big running play to Boulage, and then the offensive line winning the war on the line of scrimmage, allowing Grapevine to get their running game going and allowing the passing game to work too.
And that running game led by Tellis Redmond, 12 carries, 52 yards, and Ryan Cernisek's had a good first half, 9 of 13, 1 interception, both touchdowns for Grapevine, rushing TDs. So a good first half for the Grapevine offense, pretty good first half for the Grapevine defense as well. They need to counter that. Grapevine does get the ball first here in the second half, certainly an advantage to the Grapevine offense.
And Richard, the pressure is going to be on that Richland defense to deny Cernisek and the offense to score with their first possession.
You're watching Nothing But Sports Productions, the second half coming up next. We're ready for the second half. 12 minutes on the clock. That's the time remaining in the third quarter. 17-14. Grapevine leads. They will get the ball first here in the second half. Richland won the toss. They elected to receive. It was a big first possession for the Grapevine defense. It results in a big opportunity for Grapevine. They're up by 3. This is the time in the game where you want to set the tone for the second half.
And Richard, and for Richland, a big question, what is the status of Boulash? We saw him look to either get the wind knocked out of him when he came down the football. He looked a little bit gimpy when he left the field at the end of the first half.
We'll have to see if we see him on the sidelines. I don't right now, but certainly he's bound to come in this game. It's the playoffs. You got to think if he got the wind knocked out of him, he will definitely be back in the football game. Boulash, by the way, 10 carries, 114 yards. So he's the key to the Richland offense. That could be a big break for Grapevine if he isn't able to return, but we certainly hope his injury isn't serious as Grapevine goes on the attack here with the kickoff. Run all the way back to the 30-yard line, and that is T.J. Bass for Grapevine. So not bad starting position here for the Grapevine offense.
Grapevine has had great field position throughout this football game, and T.J. Bass, his favorite NFL player, Deion Sanders, and he obviously would have loved to have broken that kickoff return.
Ryan Cernisek checking in. Number 8, the quarterback of this Grapevine offense, huddles his troops as they go on the attack.
And for Richland, Richard, a big question in their mind, can they win the war on the line of scrimmage? To this point, it's been won by the fine offensive line of Grapevine.
One running back, 3 wide receivers to the right. Tellis Redmond gets the call, spins, loses a tackler, and will gain about 3 yards. Just started the second half. Grapevine band is returning to its seats, going into the tunnel now. And it is a gain of 3 yards for Redmond.
Richard, one of the things I'm sure Coach Snead has to be very pleased with in a playoff game like this, you want to keep the mistakes to a minimum. No penalties for Grapevine in the first half.
Redmond the lone setback. 3 wide receivers to Cernisek's right. This is a normal formation for Grapevine. Cernisek will throw the football. Crossing pattern. He does have a man. It's Williams. All the way out of bounds to the 45-yard line. Maybe a flag for a late hit. They won't throw it. Certainly was questionable. And I'm sorry, Tyson Olivo making the nice grab. Olivo really does run that crossing route extremely well. It's either a quick out or he runs from the other side of the field, one of the two. And Cernisek just has a knack of finding him. He just seems to be open.
He did a great job of catching that football without having to stop and wait on it, able to get some speed and momentum going with him as he caught the football. And once again, a fine job by the Grapevine offensive line to give Cernisek time to throw.
Grapevine wants to take their time here. They like to take a little of the momentum away from Richland. Richland does have a little bit. These two teams very evenly matched. It may be a 17-14 lead, but the Rebels certainly didn't play badly in the first half. Grapevine trying to take advantage of the first possession of this football game. Cernisek gets away somehow, avoided the sack, got the pass off to Redmond, but Redmond will still be tackled way behind the line. That's about a 7 or 8 yard loss.
Nice athletic ability by Cernisek there to step away from looked to be a certain sack and get the football thrown to Redmond.
If he had to do it over again, he probably would have tried to throw it a little bit downfield, but that's tough when you've got 2 guys about to sack you. You just try to find the outlet man. He did, but Richland read the play very well. And it's second and a long 17 yards for Grapevine. All we look for them to throw the football here as T.J. Bass checks in the game with the play for Cernisek.
It's only about the second time in this game that we've seen Cernisek pressure. The offensive line's done a great job, Richard.
D'Angelo Torres and Jack Brewer Out wide, 3 wide receiver set. Torres will go in motion behind Cernacek. Redmond, the lone backer, and he will get the call. Gets some good blocking, has found a hole and crawls his way to the 46-yard line. Kind of a pretty interesting call there. You're expecting pass. Get back to the original line of scrimmage. It will be 3rd and 10.
Play
Call it 3rd and
calling,
11.
Richard, the play calling to this point has been excellent for Grapevine. They've been able to keep the Richland defense off balance, running when they think they would throw, throwing when they think they would run. And once again there, you look for a passing situation, and they handed off the football.
3 wide receivers spread offense, 2 to Cernacek's left, 1 to his right. He'll roll following Redmond to his left, about to be sacked, will throw the ball up and found a receiver. The ball is caught. Once again, Olivo just finds a way to get open, and whenever Cernacek's in trouble, he somehow finds number 24, Tyson.
Tyson Olivo showing some great athletic ability there, Richard. He goes 5'10", 160. A diverse athlete. He's also played basketball, baseball, and track, a guard in basketball, a center fielder in baseball, and he did a nice job improvising there to catch that pass.
Punt formation for Grapevine as they do come up about 4 yards short. Scott Thompson, fair catch called by Richland, but the Rebels will have to start inside their own 20. The Grapevine Mustang drive is stalled, but not before they have the battle of field possession beginning here in the second half, and the early lead will go to Grapevine. And certainly with a 3-point lead, you're not as disappointed as you might be if you go down 14-10. That's how important that final offensive possession of the first half was for the Mustangs.
And for Grapevine on this first defensive series, Richard, the big question, A, is Bulash back in the game, and can they neutralize him? He rushed for over 100 yards in the first half.
I formation for the Rebels. 1 receiver in the slot, 1 to the left of Connolly. The give is to the fullback. Bulash is back in the football game, appears to be just fine. Apparently he did just get the wind knocked out of him, but he doesn't get the call early. It's dodging.
Nice job by that right side of the defensive line for Grapevine, reading the play, coming up, filling the hole, and making the play.
Two backs in the backfield for Richland. Connolly behind center will take the snap. Gives the handoff to Bulash. Bulash has a big hole, 1 guy to beat. He beat him, but good play coming from his position. TJ Bass coming from the right portion of the field, making the cross-field tackle to keep Bulash from heading to the end zone.
That could have been a 70-yard play, but TJ Bass, fortunately, Richard, was able to come up. Bulash broke an ankle tackle, and Bass does a fine job finishing off the play and saving 6 points.
Was a good 20-yard run for Bulash. Give us to Bulash again. He fights his way to the 44. About a 3-yard gain. 17-14 your score. Grapevine leading, 7:47 and counting in the third quarter. Taking a look there at Brian Richardson getting the play for his defense. This is a big defensive stand for Grapevine. His first defensive stand of the second half. And they need a stop here as Richland trying to take the lead and command of this ball game back. Split backfield. Bulash and Dodgen. It's Bulash with the call. He scrambles for about 2 or 3 yards. Looks to be about 2 yards to me.
Well, Grapevine with the kicking game was able to get Richland pinned down there, force them to drive the length of the field. Now they've got to make the stop, hold here, and get the football back for the offense.
The 3-yard gain for Bulash. He has 140 yards in this game. He has been, for the most part, Richland's offense, so it's big to have him back in the second half for the Rebels. The Mustangs will try to contain him. 6:47 and counting in the third quarter. Rebels on the move. Long pass. And my, oh my, was he wide open.
TJ Bass fell behind on that play, and had that pass been timed a little bit better, it could have been 6 for Richland.
Boy, Justin Sandin had a touchdown, but the pass wasn't timed well. That's a big third down stop for Grapevine, and the Rebels will be forced to punt the ball. So both teams on their first offensive possession of the second half stalled here. Game of field position slightly being won right now by the Mustangs.
And Richard, it's the rubber band theory of defense. You bend but don't break. Grapevine gave up a couple of first downs. Look
and now
out for the
terrible
punt.
snap, and we'll see if they're able to get the punt away. May have to throw the football, will kick it. And what a big break for Grapevine.
Great
snap,
break.
horrible snap for Richland. And the Mustangs will take over with phenomenal field position at the Richland 32-yard line. Let's give some credit to the Richland punter. Brant Wicker had enough sense to punt that football, saved his team probably another 20 yards, but it doesn't matter. It's a great play for Grapevine. They get 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Richard, I didn't think he was going to be able to get that punt off. He had to almost climb the rack to pull down the snap, but was able to get an angling punt out of bounds, and a great opportunity for this Grapevine offense. 1st and 10 at the 32.
Mike Sneed pacing the sidelines. He knows this is a very important drive for his ball club. The end around play, and he's two Richland backs are going to throw the football. He's wide open. D'Angelo, touchdown!
Great play call.
D'Angelo Torres on the halfback option pass, and Grapevine has gone out to a huge 24-14 lead if they make the extra point. And a little trickery from Mike Sneed and his coaching staff works to perfection. And you can see right now, D'Angelo Torres, a fired-up youngster, hasn't had too many catches. I think he had one before that, but that's the biggest of the game, a 32-yarder. And Cernasek on the money, actually, in the option as the halfback throws the pass.
Richard, watching that play, you could see the Richland defensive backs freeze when they saw Redmond pull up and throw that pass, and a nice touch pass by Redmond to find a wide open receiver.
Was it Redmond? Because I thought it might have been Jack Brewer on the play. But either one of those guys, it was a phenomenal throw. If it was Redmond, then the play was designed to go to him.
There's one thing you can be sure of right now, Richard. Momentum wears a red and white uniform in terms of the Grapevine team.
Boy, it certainly does. What a big score. Took him 8 seconds on that drive. 32-yard pass play to D'Angelo Torres. And Ryan Cernasek, by the way, 12 of 16, one interception, but a big, actually he's 11 of 15 and one interception in this game, as he didn't throw the pass. It was either Redmond or Brewer.
Well, you always want to save your home run plays for big moments. Grapevine got the football in great field position off the bad punt, and they went for the home run ball early to try and really let the air out of the Richland balloon.
Grapevine set to kick it off, 6:22 in the third quarter. The Mustangs have a 10-point lead. We talk about must-score situations. You're looking at one right now for Richland.
A lot of pressure on this Richland offense. They're going to have to come up with a long drive, crank out a few first downs, get themselves emotionally back into this football game, and they really need to take it in for 6. Right now, momentum definitely is in Grapevine's corner, and this defensive team is going to try and really pin Richland down and get the football back again for the offense.
The Grapevine fans standing up and cheering. They're thrilled to be here, 6:22 in Texas Stadium, remaining in the third quarter, and the Mustangs have taken a very important 24-14 lead. They put the pressure squarely on the shoulders of the Rebel team as the special teams having a little fun there, breaking the huddle. And you talk about a fired-up group of kids. This is the group right here to watch. Low kick, bounces. Richland has some difficulty, is finally picked up by the sophomore, running to his left, makes a good move at the 20. He'll get to the 25 and around the 30 before he's tackled. Driven out of bounds on the play by Sean Parent. And boy, this Mustang team is fired up now. You can see it on the sidelines. The coaches clapping, trying to get the team to stay focused. A 10-point lead is certainly not a commanding lead by any stretch of the imagination with 6:14 left in the third quarter.
And certainly, Richard, with the amount of time left in the third quarter, it doesn't take Boulash out of the game. You still got plenty of time to continue to run your offense, get the ball to Boulash, keep it on the ground, but there's a lot of pressure on the Richland offense right now.
I formation for the Rebels. Lee Davis in at quarterback. Todgen and Boulash are your running backs. Fake it to the fullback, will pass it on the right side. Wide open, he may have put his knee down, he didn't. They will give him about the 43-yard line. Good play by Richland. They fake it to the fullback, Todd Dodgen, and then throw the nice pass to the right side. And that will be a first down for Richland as they keep the drive alive. A very important drive for Richland as they desperately need a touchdown here.
They really do. You don't want to have to settle for the field goal with your Richland. You want to prove to your offensive team you can go in and get the 6 points and get yourself back into this game emotionally.
Split backfield for the Rebels. One wide receiver to Davis's left. The give will go to Boulash to his right. He's got a big hole and down the sidelines at the 40, the 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, loses a tackler, Touchdown, Rebels.
Great balance by Boulash there. I thought they were going to be able to knock him out of bounds inside the 10, Richard.
Boy, that was sheer speed. And the Grapevine secondary tried to get over, but it's so tough to tackle a guy with such a low center of gravity. And Boulash has put his team right back on top here. They have cut the lead to 24-21, and they do take the momentum a little here.
And if there was any doubt about Boulash's injury at the end of the first half, he answered that with a capital Y, yes.
How many yards was that run? Looked to be about 50 yards. We'll call it 50.
That should put him well close to 200 yards.
That'll put him at 190 for the game on 14 carries. Two big runs have highlighted that near 200-yard performance for Nick Boulash. The kick is good. It's no good, excuse me, and that's a huge miss. And the coaches, especially the special team coaches for Grapevine, clapping. That makes the score 24-20, and instead of tying the game with a field goal, it's an opportunity there where you must have the TD if you're Richland in order to take the lead. That's a big break for Grapevine.
And Richard, you talked earlier in the game about specialty teams. Here in this second half, specialty teams have been the downfall for Richland. The high snap for the Richland punter, who gets off a short punt that sets up Grapevine at the 32, and now they miss the extra point.
Well, these teams prepare to kick it off. 24-20, the Mustangs lead, 5:39 remaining in the third quarter. Seen a lot of action this second half. The first two drives for each team stalled, and now we're seeing scoring like mad here as they've alternated scores in this second half, and Grapevine takes the 4-point lead because of the mixed extra point.
Well, they've had a chance to look at both offensive and defensive teams through the first half, a little bit more familiarity as they begin the second half, and I think you're going to see both coaches really open it up. We've already seen a halfback pass for a touchdown for Grapevine, and I'm sure that the Richland coaches have a few tricks up their sleeve. But the important thing here, Richard, is they need a touchdown to take the lead. They cannot tie the game with a field goal.
Number 71, Chris Watson, you can see him at the top of your screen. He's certainly fired up tonight, jumping around, ready to go as Richland gets ready for the kickoff.
That touchdown puts Grapevine, or puts Richland back into the game a little bit from an emotional standpoint, but the negative of that, Richard, is the fact that they missed the extra point. They cannot tie the game with a field goal. So you have some positives and some negatives if you're a Richland fan.
Low kickoff, they want to keep it away from Redmond. TJ Bass will take it to the 20, he's at the 25-30, has a hole at the 35, spins away from a tackler, will go all the way to the 40-yard line. And you don't expect that from an up back, but TJ Bass, a very fast defensive back and receiver for the Mustang team, able to take the football all the way to the 40-yard line. Good field position once again for the Mustang offense.
TJ Bass with a fine return. He spun away from a would-be tackler at Grapevine, set up first and 10 at the 40. And once again, they've got the football in great field position. They're only 60 yards away from the other team's end zone.
Richland making some substitutions, as is Grapevine. Checking into the game with the play is Ricky Amazaga. Strip wide receivers to Cernatek's right. The give is to the running back, Tellis Redmond. He's got a hole at the 50. Spins around, will go all the way down to the 45-yard line.
And they're going for that football, Richard. If you saw the Richland tacklers there, they were trying to go for a strip, but Redmond doing a great job hanging on to the football and setting up his team first and 10 now in Richland territory.
Redmond has 15 carries, 75 yards. 5:23 and counting in the third quarter.
Well, Richard, we saw Richland go to their home run hitter, Boulash, and now here on this drive, they give the ball to Redmond.
Cernatek behind center. Two wide receivers to his left, a wide receiver in the slot to the right will go in motion. And back the other way, Redmond, the lone backer. Cernatek will throw to the man in motion, steps out of bounds, and still about a 3-yard gain. Up to the 43-yard line. Pass is caught by Brandon Battles, who went in motion on the play, came back to his original spot, and caught the football as he just went out about 3 yards, caught it, and then stepped out of bounds.
Nice drive here by Grapevine, trying to control the clock, try and take some of the air out of this balloon, any momentum that Richland might have gained from that touchdown scoring drive.
In motion is Olivo. Give is to Redmond. He has a slight hole, but it's closed down in a hurry. Big play by Richland. Ryan Bean A nice play. And Richland had stacked that side. They appeared to be looking for the play. Nothing you can do as an offensive lineman when you have two guys you got to block.
Exactly. Some nice misdirection in that formation by Grapevine. We're coming up on 4:34 to go. A very big play here for Grapevine. 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8, 4 wide receivers. The Grapevine spread offense. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. And you know who in the backfield. Cernasek behind center. Will take a drop, looks left, passes across the middle. He has a man. Is it intercepted? Yes. It will be rebel ball. An interesting play, too. It looks like Cernasek just threw it, barely overthrew his man, and it was just a good heads-up play.
He had an open man at about the 25, Richard, but a great deal of athletic ability by that defensive back for Richland. I thought he might have trapped that ball on the turf from our vantage point.
Brandon Pryor made a good play.
Nice athletic play by Pryor. Once again, though, Richard, this is where the Grapevine defense has to step it up, take the momentum away from Richland. They get the ball on a turnover and deny Grapevine an opportunity to score. Now it's time for the Grapevine defense to step it up.
Looks like a 5-2 defense from Grapevine. They may be expecting pass here. It's a draw to Bulash. He only gets about 2 or 3 yards on the play. Good defense by the Mustangs. They recognize that play early. Only allow Bulash 3 yards. Interesting to see the play calling from the Rebels here. They're down by 4. No rush, certainly, with 3:47 in the third. Have a full quarter to play. Fake it to the up back. Will roll right. The pass is going right. Hit immediately by Olivo.
Fine defensive play by Olivo, Richard. He came up very quickly on that play.
But the pass is caught. And Jared Syback makes the nice play for Richland. They will get a first down. Mustangs not allowing the big play, but slowly the Rebels continue to move down the field. 3:38 left in the third quarter. We'll have to wait and see what happens as Richland comes up to the line. 2 backs to the backfield. They're split. 1 wide receiver to Connolly's left. Fakes to the up back. Fakes to Bulash. Will go on the bootleg. And good speed from the Grapevine tacklers.
Leading that defensive surge that time was number 66, Mike Boyle, Richard. Fine defensive play by Boyle to lead that defensive surge. He's a very good athlete, a pole vaulter, 400 meter, 100 meter, 200 meter, the mile relay, the sprint relay. His favorite NFL team, the Cowboys, favorite player, Jerry Rice, and a fine defensive play that time by Boyle.
Kyle Kuntz also helped out on the play for Grapevine. 2nd and 8. The bootleg does not work for Connolly and the Rebels. They'll go back to the drawing board here, rolling right. He's going to be sacked, and what a big play for the Mustang defense. Look at the charge. 2 players, number 76 and 53. Alex Pahula essentially making the sack and helping out on the play, James McCarthy. And Pahula, that may be his 2nd sack of the ball game.
Pahula has had a fine defensive game, and boy, he really led the surge of the red and white that time.
3rd and 16. Big field position stop right here for the Mustangs. They may get great field position if they can stop Connolly and the Rebel offense. 3 wide receivers for Richland. They will have to throw the football here. Long throw across the middle. That is deflected, and it's caught by Redmond. He's at the 45, trying to lose a tackler at the 40, and it's actually Bulash that has to tackle him. And Tellis Redmond, he's a running back, but everybody forgets he's also a DB, and he gets the big interception off of the deflection. And Grapevine has great field position, even better if Richland would have had to punt the football, and they start at the Richland 40.
And Richard, with 2:17 left in this third quarter, the Grapevine offense has been in Richland's end of the field more than the Richland offense. They get a great turnover here on the interception by Redmond off the deflected pass. And once again, an opportunity for them up by 4 to take it in and get back to a double-digit lead.
13 seconds on the 25-second clock. And Cernasek has to hurry here. He's got 6 seconds to work with. 2 wide receivers to his right, a man in the slot. The give is to Redmond at the 40. Cuts into the 35, grinds his way to the 34-yard line. It will be 2nd and 4. This is good strategy for the Mustangs. They know they're up by 4. If they can grind it out with the running game, stick it in the end zone, go up by 11.
And with
one more quarter to play,
it would put a huge world of pressure on this Richland offense.
Certainly would.
Especially as you head to the fourth quarter. Richard, if you can get up by double digits, you take away the opportunity for them to run the football if they're down by 2 scores headed to the fourth quarter.
Cernusek up to the line behind that offensive line, which has come up big so far, giving him plenty of time this half and especially in the first half. The give is to Redmond on the draw. He's got some running room at the 30. Scoot to his left at the 25-20. He's gone. No, he's not. What a great defensive play. I thought he was gone for the TD.
I thought he was gone too. It looked like at about the 15 there was nobody that was going to catch him.
Out of nowhere, Jason King makes a big play for Richland, but a phenomenal run for Redmond on the draw.
And Redmond doing what he does best, Richard. He took that football up the middle, saw the hole, cut to the outside.
About a 25-yard run. And that'll give Redmond, at least I'm giving it to him, 100 yards. 16 carries, 100 yards. And that does not include, by the way, the interception return. Surprisingly, 2 backs in the backfield for Grapevine. I don't see this very much. Redmond will still get the call. He grinds his way to the 5-yard line. Slowly but surely, Grapevine moving down the field inside that red zone. Know they need to capitalize. And you know Coach Mike Sneedy does not want a field goal here. It only puts you up by 7.
And once again, Richland unable to deal with that fine offensive line for Grapevine, Richard. These offensive linemen for Grapevine have done a fine job opening up the holes for Redmond and also protecting Cernusek when he's had to throw.
Again, technically 2 backs in the backfield on a slot receiver. It's going to go to the slot receiver. He misses a tackle. Touchdown Grapevine. What a great move by Olivo. Phenomenal move by Tyson Olivo as he shakes a tackler and then sticks that football across the plane. Touchdown Grapevine with 32 seconds left in the third quarter.
And Richard, it was a broken tackle there. Olivo was hit at about the 3-yard line, was able to shake off the tackle and take that football in and break the plane.
What a great offensive series for Grapevine. They attempt 1 pass, and that's a TD.
Big point after here, Richard. It could give them an 11-point lead, which would mean they'd need 2 touchdowns.
Thompson's had a great night so far, and he continues. 11-point lead, 31-20, 32 ticks left on the clock here in the third. And Grapevine capitalizing on the Richland gift. They were able to unwrap that gift and result in a touchdown. And when you turn over the ball 3 times in a game, there's a lot of coaches that'll tell you you shouldn't be winning. By the way, Grapevine has also turned over the ball twice. Nearing the end of the third quarter, the team's huddling.
But Richard, the one thing about the Grapevine turnovers, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't believe they have contributed directly to points, have they not?
No, they have not. In fact, you're correct. Both turnovers did not result in points. And in fact, this is the first time off a turnover that it has resulted in Grapevine points. I take that back. They scored a field goal off of one of the Richland turnovers in the first half. So they've scored 10 points off of 2 of the 3 Richland turnovers, which certainly makes Coach Sneed happy. You must capitalize in good situations, and his team certainly did there.
And whatever momentum was gained by Richland on that spectacular drive that was speared by Boulash, momentum has once again been regained by Grapevine on that spectacular catch and run by Olivo.
Grapevine special teams ready to get after it. 32 ticks here.
And Richard, if you're a Grapevine special teams player, you'd love nothing more right now than to get a fumble recovery off a special teams hit.
Well, that could be the ball game if that doesn't
It really could be. They'd have the football down in Richland's end.
Got to credit the offensive line on that series. When you run a guy like Redmond up the middle and to both sides, left and right, it has to be great blocking and great timing.
They have overpowered the defensive line for Grapevine to this point of the football game.
Special teams kick. Thompson will kick it off. A low, long kick will bounce at the 10 and go into the end zone, and it will be a touchback. It certainly did cross the plane before going out of bounds. And the Grapevine defense, important possession for them. They need a defensive stand here, give the ball back to the offense, and let the offense take control of this game.
And once again, Richard, field position very much a key. This is the 3rd time in this football game that Richland has started their drive from at least the 20-yard line.
Now the Richland defensive line will try to take up where the offensive line left off, if you will. Certainly a strong front 4. The Rebels have gone center. It's Davis back at quarterback, split backfield. Bulash and Dodgen. It's Bulash the call to the right side, has a small hole, closes up in a hurry, and Bulash gets about 6 yards. Nick Bulash, I have 1 yard away from a 200-yard performance, and he's had many of those this season.
He has definitely been the real workhorse for this Richland offense. But he finds himself and his team down by 11 as the final seconds of the third quarter tick down.
And that is the end of the third quarter. Your score, Grapevine 31, Richland 20. We'll take timeout. You're watching Nothing But Sports Production. Neil, Amy, and Richard Durr at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. 1 quarter remaining in this big playoff game between Grapevine and Richland. Richland is on the move now, but they have to start pretty bad field position. They started at their 20, 2nd and 4.
Time for the Grapevine defense that has been anchored by such players as Aaron Flores to step it up here. Aaron Flores, Nicholas Sikowitz, Mike Boyle, amongst several players. Kyle Kuntz at linebacker that has been pressed with the challenge of stopping Richland on this drive.
And again, that line comes up big on the run. It will be a first down, no, but only a 4-yard gain.
.11:43 to go. A lot of pressure on Richland. They're kind of torn between here, Richard. They don't want to use up a long time-consuming drive because they need 2 scores to take the lead.
That's the fullback fighting for yards, Dodgen. And he fights his way to the 35-yard line. Good gang tackling from Grapevine as Mike Sneed claps, and that's number 60 you're looking at right there.
Brian Richardson doing a nice job on that play. He's a power lifter, also runs track. His favorite NFL player, Junior Seau with the Chargers, and Ken Norton with the 49ers. Favorite team, the Cowboys. He did a nice job anchoring Grapevine on that defensive play. A 970 SAT and a 3.79 GPA for Brian Richardson, the middle linebacker.
Bulash will run left, tries to cut into the hole. Good stop by number 42, Kyle Kuntz. Kuntz making the nice play.
Kuntz doing a nice job on that play. He runs track. He's a power lifter. He goes about 5'10", 175. His favorite NFL players, Greg Lloyd and Walter Payton, and he will graduate with honors, Richard.
Four-3 defense for Grapevine. I formation. Fake to the fullback. They'll run the option. And Davis is stumped.
Nice reaction time, Richard.
He will not get the first down. Great play, 2nd in a row for Kyle Kuntz. We just mentioned him, and he makes a big play for Grapevine.
Well, Richard, Kyle Kuntz will graduate with honors, and he did a nice job that time reading the play, coming over and leading the defensive search for Grapevine to deny them a first down.
Will be a 4th down situation. A player is hurt. That is why we've had a timeout called, official timeout. We'll pan over and see just who that injured player is. And it is the quarterback who just ran the option, Davis. Lee Davis, 6 foot, 155 pounder, the senior. Richland quarterback ran the option, got crunched. Just a great hit by Kyle Kuntz, aided by a couple of defensive backs.
Richard, this shouldn't disrupt Richland from their offense too much. We've mentioned they've been alternating quarterbacks throughout the game, although you look for him to return to the game a little bit later on.
Another guy on that line that's done a great job is Mike Boyle, number 66 for Grapevine. He's had a phenomenal performance tonight, as the rest of that line certainly has.
Mike Boyle, very actively involved at Grapevine. He's on the National Honor Society, a National History Merit Award winner, National English Merit Award, Long John Silver Student Athlete of the Week. He's a who's who among American high school students, an All-American Scholar, member of the Gold Club and the Silver Club. And also, if you can find this, hard to believe, Richard, very actively involved in athletics. Besides football, he plays golf, basketball, track, and weightlifts.
Wow.
And that got me tired just mentioning it.
Another guy helping him out on that line is James McCarthy, number 76. A defensive lineman lines up with that front 4 for Grapevine. And that entire line, offensive and defensive, for Grapevine, is really winning this game for the Mustangs so far.
They have set the tone in this game, and now they have an opportunity to make a huge play here for Grapevine.
Connolly comes in for the injured Davis. Big play for Richland, 4th and 1. Quarterback sneak. And bouncing to his left, I think Connolly got it. Depends on where they spot it. And it will be a first down. Initially, Grapevine had stopped the play, but Connolly bounced out to his left and was able to get 1.5 yards, and that's enough for the first down.
And Richard, it's kind of a good news, bad news story for Richland. They get the first down, but that clock continues to run, and the way that Richland's offense is structured, running the football, they're going to have to throw it if they want to get a quick score.
James McCarthy in there on that initial attack on Connolly. As Connolly drops back, will throw to his left side. And it's caught. What a great catch by Richland. TJ Bass did not realize the football was being thrown in his direction. Might have had a chance to pick that ball off. Redmond a little upset. He got there just a little late. But a big play for Richland as they move the chains all the way down to the Grapevine 35-yard line.
Good protection there. They weren't able to get much of a pass rush on him, but one of the men on the defensive line having a fine game for Grapevine is James McCarthy. Richard, he plays track basketball. He also weightlifts. He plays chess. He also is involved in the shot put and throws the discus for his track team.
Dropping back, Richland. Nice pass play. We'll see how the tackling of Grapevine works, and it works pretty well. The initial hit made by Kyle Kuntz, who's just been all over the place in this beginning of the 4th quarter here. Well, you're looking at McCarthy right now, the player that you just mentioned.
And Richard, McCarthy's favorite team, the 49ers, his favorite NFL player, Howie Long, and he's had a Howie Long game this evening here at Texas Stadium.
Also likes Russell Maryland and Barry Sanders, I see there, and those are 3 very good players. Richland gives it to Boulash. Boulash will go nowhere.
Oh, nice job that time to stop Boulash, Richard.
Great stuff from the Grapevine defensive line. Sean Parent, the first guy in. Battles also makes a nice play. And Grapevine, the defense certainly fired up. Their offense has done the job tonight. They want to come back and have a good showing on this drive.
And Richard, when you look at these defensive linemen for Grapevine, they're all honor students, good intelligence, and they use that to read the offensive scheme of the opposition and make the play.
Battles thinking about coming in on the bottom of your screen. Could be a blitz from Grapevine. We'll wait and see. I formation. So will drop back to pass will be Connolly, and he just throws it away. That's what you call a containment sack. He was flushed out of the pocket, but it was good coverage by